Right, this is the West Ham preview. We are in the quarter-final of the FA Cup, and despite what Paul Scholes says, getting to Wembley and winning some silverware would be quite nice at the end of this terrible season, wouldn't it, Ian?
Yes.
Yes, Ian is on the preview.
I agree with Scholesy.
Okay, fair enough. Ian's on the preview today. Right, the first question we're throwing at the guys is, if we lose to West Ham, is the season over? Adam, you can chime in first.
Pretty much so, yes. I mean, barring a performance which would be like going against our current form next Thursday. It's like, you know, beating Liverpool 3-0 at home or 2-0 and then taking it to extra time, you know, that's not impossible, let's be honest here. But we have to play a lot better than we have done against West Bromwich Albion and against Liverpool. But if we go out against West Ham of the FA Cup, then I do think our season is pretty much over. But even if we do win the FA Cup, that's not a successful season for Manchester United. Yes, it'll be nice. I really want to go to Wembley for the semi and the FA Cup final. But if we win that, I don't want people to start thinking, oh, it's been a good season and you know, we don't have to reassess the manager at the end of the season, because we do. The manager should probably be assessed right now, to be honest. But that's obvious it's not going to happen at the club. So, yeah, an FA Cup win doesn't change the whole grand scheme of things. And I even said that after the Arsenal victory as well, that it matters what we do against Watford and West Brom. And we obviously didn't get 6 points out of them games. It's got worse with the performance against Liverpool. And
to an extent, you're almost saying the season's already over.
It is. It has been for a long time. I mean, Manchester United go into every season, and I think especially in this kind of season where we should be looking to, I don't want to, it's going to sound a bit naive, but we should be looking to win the league every season. I know that. And I know it's difficult, and I know you can't just win the league every season, but given the way the season has gone and the games that we have lost, the manager should be getting us closer to the top than we are, and we haven't been, and the season's been over in that sense for a long time. We got knocked out of the Champions League. Nobody really wants to win the Europa League. If we won that, it'd be like winning the Capital One Cup. Yes, it's nice. Yes, we'll get a few good away trips out of it, but ultimately, it's not what we want.
Okay, Ian.
Yeah, I basically agree. Like, if we won the FA Cup but we didn't make the top four, I wouldn't really care about the FA Cup. It'd be nice to win it, but I'd look at the season and just think, like, so not getting in the top four, that's going to mean like big repercussions. You don't know whether they'd manage to keep De Gea, some other big players, whether you can get other players to the club. And I think it would be tougher than it was when we first missed out in the top four, because United was seen as, this is a 1 year off blip. We'll get back in. This makes it look like it's could happen more. Yeah. And yeah, there's uncertainty over the managers who be coming in. I don't think we'd attract big players, and then you could end up like Liverpool. And I think, like Mac said, like, because I don't think it is naive to say we should be aiming to win. And I think what Van Gaal said, which is stupid, is about like living in the past, because it's not living in the past. It's living in like 3 seasons ago, when United maybe didn't have the strongest team, but were like winning the league with like Sir Alex Ferguson. It does seem a bit like you can't say living in the. You can say living in the past with Liverpool, because it's been a long time since they've won anything. But with Manchester United, it's like David Moyes messed up, and now Louis Van Gaal did okay. It's like 3 seasons.
Yeah.
It's not living in the past. We've got the recent history and the resources where you should be able to maintain that.
Yeah.
You should have good players. You should have youth coming through. It's difficult to lose like a top 6 kind of position, really. Like, and with West Ham and Leicester doing so well, you kind of, and even like Tottenham, I guess, you're like, well, they're doing something right that Manchester United should be doing. So yeah, I think if we had a beaten West Brom, and then, you know, win West Ham, but then it would be like United City to kind of decide 4th, and we'd still be in it. But yeah, at the minute, I don't think we're going to get anything. Okay,
Howson, let me reframe the question for you. At the start of the season, there are 4 trophies Manchester United can win. You'd probably put the FA Cup as the 3rd best trophy. Do you think people are too quickly writing it off and saying, well, if we're not winning the Premier League or the Champions League, which are both incredibly difficult to do, the Champions League because of Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, the Premier League because there are so many teams that are so competitive, and the state that Manchester United are in, wouldn't winning the FA Cup actually be a mark of achievement in a terrible season? Because you look at the squad, it's not as strong as it should be. So would we not say, that's brilliant, we've won a trophy. We set out, there's only 3-4 we can win, we've won one. Isn't that a good thing? Are we not all a bit quick to go, I don't even want to win the FA Cup, this is rubbish?
Sorry, I just lost you then, just at probably the key point of the question, but I think I get the gist of what you're saying. At the start of the season, yeah, we would have liked to have won the Premier League, or at least challenged for it. Would have liked to have gone far in the Champions League. We're not kidding ourselves. We wouldn't have won the Champions League this year with the squad that we've got. But as the season's progressed, obviously your targets shift. Leicester's targets have shifted from staying up to now trying to win the league. Ours have shifted from let's compete for the league and challenge for the league to let's try and get into the top 4. So as it stands right now, it's been a disaster of a season. If we did go to Wembley, then it's a top day out, and that's what we do. Well, this is why we do it, innit? Mm-hmm. We don't do it just for winning games and all that sort of stuff. We do it for the days out with our mates on the beer and for the experiences, and going to Wembley and winning a cup is something we haven't done in a long time. For a club of this size, that's not good enough. So I'll take if we get the chance to win the cup, but we're not even getting through West Ham. Let's get a change petition together. Absolutely pathetic. All those saying let's do a boycott or let's leave the games at a certain amount of time into the game. It's absolutely pathetic. Since when did Manchester United do that? If you're in it just for the winning, then do one. I don't want you at my club because I'm in it for Manchester United. Where was you when the Glazers came in 2005? If we had this much passion and hatred and disgust for the team performance that we've got now, back then in 2005 when they took over the club, we wouldn't be in this mess. They pulled $1 billion out of the club and no one gives a shit. All everyone cares about is winning. And he was all placated by all the stupid success that we've had in the last 10 years when actually the club was falling to pieces in the foundations and nobody cared. Where's everyone that cares about the club, truly? Because if you cared about the club, you'd care about the Glazers. End of.
Passionate, very passionate for Stephen Howson.
Can I ask a question, Sam?
That's not really how this works, Ian, but go on.
Well, basically, what I want to say is, considering the money that Louis van Gaal spent and the time that he's had, would you say that this season is worse or better than Moyes' debut season? Because I personally think it's almost worse when you look at the money and what he should have at his disposal. And the Champions League exit so early.
I tend to ignore the money argument, but yes, I think this season is worse because he's had a year in the job already. So things should be more developed. He's had a lot longer to implement his style of play, his system, to bring in players that he wants to work with, to get rid of ones he felt weren't working out. So actually, yeah, it's worse. Right, next question.
Thank you for letting me answer.
You're welcome. I hope you enjoyed the answer.
Adam
also agreed. No, it's nice. Feel free if you ever want to ask me questions again.
Okay. How many 14-year-olds could you take in a fight? And they're all coming at you at once. Like 5, I could go boom, boom, boom. 3 of them are gone. I get the other 2. How many?
Derailed. I'm not used to these things happening on previews.
4, maybe. Right. Let's. It depends how big they are. Let's talk about formations. We did 3-5-2 in the second half.
We're still talking about the 14.
No, we're back on
okay.
We're back on the football. We played 3-5-2 in the second half against Liverpool. We looked a little bit stronger. Would you prefer to see the 3-5-2 sticking around? Obviously, it's something Louis played with in the past. Or would you rather we stick to something more straightforward that the players are more used to playing? Howson.
Well, do you know what? Like, the manager gets a lot of stick, and for quite rightly so, there's been a lot of reasons to give him stick this year. But one of the things people say to him is that he's too stubborn and not fluid enough. Well, I think last night he actually shown he was reactive to what was happening on the pitch because we was getting absolutely slaughtered in the first half. I'm very lucky to still be even in the tie, let alone the game. He did change it, and it temporarily stopped Liverpool's dominance in that game. Now, it did switch back because Klopp changed it and we didn't react fast enough. But I think Louis van Gaal has proved there that he is actually capable of changing something on the fly, and I think fair play to him. It didn't really come off because we still didn't manage to get a foothold in the game, didn't create enough chances, didn't score any goals, but at least he changed something up. Whether we play 3-5-2 or 4-2-3-1, generally the formation is largely irrelevant. It's where you deploy the players and what the roles them players have got within that formation, I think, more or less. Whether or not we go with whatever formation, we just need to go with what works. 4-2-3-1 hasn't been working, has it? So why not mix it up? I mean, we deployed that formation at half-time yesterday to counteract the threats that we were dealing with. So if he wants to mix it up because he thinks West Ham are going to employ it, something like that, then maybe that's the way to go. Maybe that's the way to cover up with some of the frailties that we've got in the midfield, which just looks awful at the moment. It's being bypassed. And in the defence, which Daley Blind needs a rest, let's face it. So whether he wants to bring players in and do what he wants, because like we said, season's over, so just experiment and let's get through it and have some fun.
Okay, Adam, do you agree?
Can I just say Steve was spot on earlier as well, before Ian started talking about the 14-year-olds and the fight. I thought Steve was spot on. I had the conversation earlier with Haley actually on Twitter, and I don't agree with the thought of walking out just because the football and the form's bad. The time to walk out is when the Glazers come in. They didn't move me from the club, and bad form isn't. You go there to support Manchester United, not Louis van Gaal. And I'm not happy with Louis van Gaal, but you have to keep supporting Manchester United. But yeah, anyway, moving on from that. The one thing we need to see, regardless of formation, that I feel whenever we've had this constant cycle of doing well, 2 steps forward, 5 steps back, all that stuff. And I think Louis van Gaal shoots himself in the foot a lot of the time. Yesterday, I seen someone suggest Rashford was at fullback, but he obviously wasn't at fullback. But yesterday, Rashford was... He broke through into this team as someone that had fantastic movement in between defenders, in behind defenders, and he could also, pull out wide to collect the ball and bring in opportunities for his other strikers. And he was poaching for his goals. And then we put him in the team yesterday, and he's got defensive duties and he's out wide. Why? Fellaini, we play Fellaini and we try and get him to dictate play in the midfield. Why? He's never been that guy. Whenever he played against us and he played well, he was always a physical threat that was strong, and we don't use him to his strengths almost. And I think Louis van Gaal too many times has shot himself in the foot with not only his team selection, but sometimes the way where players are playing and stuff like that. So I think the key thing is to get players playing where they're going to play well, where we're going to get the best out of them. I also felt yesterday at Anfield, some of the experienced players didn't help. Michael Carrick, I think I'd be surprised to see him get a renewed contract. He was very poor. Schneidlin had a bad game. Juan Mata, he looked poor again. He had a bad game yesterday. So I think a lot of players aren't performing, experienced players, but we've got to play our players to their strengths, and we haven't been doing that enough. And regardless of what formation you play, if you don't play your players to your strengths, you're not going to win games. Simple, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes sense. Ian, where do you stand on formations? Do you think that's important?
Well, yeah, I agree with what Mike said, basically. Like, it was so exciting seeing the 3-5-2 when Louis van Gaal first come to the club in pre-season, when it was destroying like Real Madrid and stuff. But I think it's just a player thing. Like, yeah, the fact that Rashford wasn't in the middle, you just like it makes you feel, because sometimes as a football fan you can like have a go at managers' decisions, and it feels like you're maybe being a bit ignorant about it, really.
Yeah.
But that feels like something that you can confidently say, I feel like I would not make that mistake, and that I know better than this man. Even though he's so experienced, you just think like he shouldn't be there. Like, Daley Blind's done a good job covering as like a centre back. Like, yeah, you just feel like, I don't think the formation matters I think like, if you get like the treble winning squad that we had, or any title winning squad, and you mixed up the formation, you've got capable players there. But Fellaini, like, yeah, to be fair to him, he's not been played in like his best position. But yeah, he's just becoming like, it's embarrassing how much all our fans hate him, because that I think makes the club look bad as well. But it's also embarrassing after the game that he's involved in another like still image of him elbowing someone in the face, like in the middle of the field. It's just, like,
I don't mind that against Liverpool.
Oh no, I mean,
I don't mind. I want to see people throwing in challenges and.
But
stuff.
you want to see someone like being
yesterday,
passionate though, not just elbowing someone off the ball, because it's just embarrassing.
Like Van Gaal totally underestimated what was ahead of us. It's the Europa League, no one cares. But against Liverpool, whether it's the Milk Cup or the Champions League final, you want to beat Liverpool. And I felt on that pitch, nobody was like up for it. It was a Thursday night in Europa League, yes, I know, but it was a game under the floodlights at Anfield in Europe, the first leg of 2 legs, and we didn't want it at all. Like,
boys, I'm concerned we're being sidetracked here because this is the West Ham preview as opposed to the Liverpool review.
Yeah, but this is a
but it
pressing
comes down
issue,
to the manager, doesn't it? Like, he needs to. These players need to be up for this game on Sunday because West Ham have the ability to come
Twisted
here
it.
and turn us over.
No,
And not-
twisted it.
They're ahead of
Okay,
League
right.
Just
Get
the
up
1-0 with a good
Thursday night.
thumping. They've banged some teams.
We're all
If you can't
talking
get
at the
up
same
for any
time.
game against Liverpool, that's not on the manager. The manager shouldn't have to motivate anybody against Liverpool. This is United and Liverpool. They shouldn't even need to be a team talk. You have to go, guess what, we're playing Liverpool. And the players go, right, yeah, we're on it. That's all you should need to do. So how, if the players can't motivate themselves for Liverpool, what chance have they got for West Ham?
It's a very good point.
I think-
Right, Howson, who are you playing? Who would your team be?
I've no idea, mate, because I think we need such a fresh start with everything at the moment in the team. The only person who really deserves to keep his place is that keeper in net. So everybody else can sling it for me. I
my
would drop
God, imagine we didn't
everybody.
have him.
What?
Imagine we didn't have him.
If we didn't have him, yeah, we'd be
Oh,
probably
don't imagine it.
on par with
Horrible.
Newcastle, I think, at the moment.
We are on par with Newcastle at the moment.
Hang on. Things
would
aren't
go
so
for-
bad that we're trying to get Benitez, Adam.
Don't even go there.
Things have not got that bad. Ian,
right.
what would your
I'll go
start 11
with-
be?
Oh, man, am I getting
Oh,
skipped now?
God.
Yeah, because I waffle.
Well, I didn't know if you're doing one.
Yeah,
I'm
hey, sorry, Steve.
Oh, you are going to do one?
Sorry, Steve.
So I think I'll
Sorry.
go with Varela because Varela gives us that little bit of energy. I think just a bit more over Damian. Left back, I'll go with Cameron Borthwick-Jackson at the moment. Honestly, I think he offers a bit more of attacking outlet. In defence, I'm going with Timothy Fosu-Mensah and Chris Smalling. Blind needs a rest. In midfield, Schweinsteiger and Herrera. Let's go with them two. Give Schneiderlin a rest. I've seen a lot of people slagging off Schneiderlin last night, saying that they don't know what he brings to the team, and I don't even know how to comment to those people. They're the same sort of people, I imagine, wouldn't have realised what Carrick was doing for the team when everybody in the team was raving about what he did. Schweinsteiger is a footballer's footballer. I absolutely love watching Schneiderlin play, and I think he brings a hell of a lot to United. And without him this season, not quite on par with David De Gea, but without him this season, we'd be in a lot worse shape than we are. The stat with how many we've won with him in the team and lost with him out of the team says everything that you need to know. And then up front, Christ, I'd go with Rashford up front. I think Martial needs to play on the left. I wouldn't mind seeing Memphis on the right if we're capable of doing that. And Captain Matter, I think he's probably going to be. Is he banned?
He's suspended.
He's banned, yeah. So I would go with
Pereira.
I would go with Pereira as my number 10.
Okay.
And let's just have it.
Lovely. Ian, what are you doing?
Oh, right. Well, so obviously starting in goal with Romero. No, yeah, De Gea. I would like, I agree with Borthwick-Jackson and Varela. Smalling. I don't know who else like you put as a centre back there. I can understand Fosu-Mensah. Like, probably Rojo, because if you've got the young guys, you need experience
He was
there.
bad yesterday.
Oh yeah, but I mean, who else can you get in like besides kids? I guess. So then in front of them, I would put Schneiderlin and Blind. I think Blind like yesterday was getting up and making passes and trying to take people on. I don't think he should be in defence. I think he can create stuff. He's got like a great sort of passing range. I think he's done like a real good job, I think, of trying to fit in that hole. But yeah, I think he's been underused. So I would have Blind and Schneiderlin. Then I'd have Herrera as a number 10. It's not really his best position, but I think it's better than using someone who's very inexperienced to start with. Martial on the left. Depay on the right, but he's playing awfully. And Rashford up front. But I think Rashford's maybe being rushed up front. If we had Rooney, then I wouldn't play Rashford, like kind of bed him in. But it's just what an awful team that is. It just
You
sounds
picked it,
bad
mate.
at the minute, but
Adam,
so depressed.
what are you doing?
Do you want me to give a full team, innit?
Yeah,
Got one if you want one.
yeah, I'd love it.
Right, David De Gea in goal. I agree with the fullbacks. And I agree with putting Fosu alongside Smalling. Blind has looked tired. I think Blind has done well at times at centre-half, despite being exposed at other times. But recently he has looked very tired, so I will take him out of the team. Same with Carrick. I do not want to see Carrick starting. Because if Carrick starts in midfield, and they've got Payet in that hole, he will run rings around him all day long. And I hate to say that because I love Carrick, but time's time, you know what I mean? So I'd go with Schneiderlin. I want to see Herrera in the team. I want to see Pereira in the team as well, in the whole. And I think with Mata out, even if Mata was available, I would probably look to freshen up the team and put Pereira in. I think it's the right time for Mata to just be pulled out a little bit. He looks tired and frustrated recently, and that's gone from a player that was getting a lot of our goals and assists. So yeah, I'd put Pereira in there. Marshall, and is Lingard fit? Because I'd put Lingard down instead of Memphis. So I'd put Marshall, Lingard and Rashford with Pereira in the hole.
Lovely. I think we all enjoyed that. Good teams, guys. Right, should we talk about West Ham?
West Ham.
What are we concerned about? The Irons.
Mate, you're tugging on my bloody headphones cord.
All right, mate.
I don't want to do this video anymore.
Dimitri Payet, is he the main concern? Is there anyone else we're worried about?
He is the main concern.
But the whole squad is like.
I like
strong,
Lanzini as well. You know, I don't know if he'll start, but I'm a fan of Manuel Lanzini. I think he's a quality player. But Dimitri Payet, he could do the Di Canio to us. Remember Di Canio in, was it 0-1?
What, when Bartes tried to claim he was offside and just stood there with his arm in the air?
Hailed the taxi.
Hey, you got to try, man. You got to try. Everyone loves a trier.
Well,
if he tried to save it, he probably
yeah, I'm about him. I'm afraid tried to save it.
Nah, he was never saving that.
Yeah, I think Payet's fantastic. Do we have to listen to that song they're going to sing that Arsenal stole and then... Oh, I'm sick of that song. Arsenal stole it, Watford stole it, and now West Ham are going to come and sing it all day. That's what I'm fearing. I don't want Payet to score and that to happen. But I think Payet's quality. And what's the other guy that gets all their goals? Antonio.
Mm-hmm. Is he English?
Yeah.
He's called Michael Antonio, and he's English.
He's from Bradford.
It doesn't sound English, but yeah, I mean, the good thing.
So
is
welcome
to
to Full-Time BMP.
I didn't get a word of that.
I said welcome to Full-Time BMP. In a bit we'll be hearing from Nigel Farage, who will be giving us the official list of English and non-English names. If you fall into the category of non-English, you will be asked to leave the country immediately.
Yeah.
Katie Hopkins is waiting to shoot you off the coast.
All right, less of that, Sam. BDL.
Yeah. Go on.
Do you want this derailing? Just got derailed.
As you were, Howson.
Andy Carroll, the Afro Sacco as well.
Yeah.
Is he even fit?
Andy Carroll,
Yeah.
if you like that kind of bloke, I don't know, not fit for me.
Oh my days.
How about we wrap up, because I'm not sure anybody's still watching. Ian, what do you think the score will be?
I think it will be 2-1 West Ham.
2-1 West Ham from Ian Smith.
I'm not happy with that.
Start.
I just think it will be.
Do it. Everyone predicts a loss.
Howson, what do you think the score will be?
4-0 West Ham.
Good God, this is awful.
4-0.
Adam.
Nah,
By the way, I also think Enna Valencia is good, and
He is
Alex Sung and Mark
we
Noble.
moved on, mate. Shut up.
Now, if we let Alex Sung and Mark Noble control that midfield, I'm going to be fuming because, oh man, oh God, I'm dreading this game. I think it's going to go to a replay, boys.
Okay, so you think a draw? That's what we were after. What, a score draw? Just say some numbers, mate.
0-0.
0-0. Beautiful. Thank you so much. So that's it. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the...
Sam, what's yours?
I think Manchester United will scrape a 2-1 win. I'm confident.
You're off your head, mate. You are off your head.
Not for the first time. Guys, thank you very much.
This is the worst we've ever predicted, I think.
Let us know what you think. Get in the comments below. Can we salvage something from this season? Spoiler,
Come
no.
on, United.